is up, ladies and gentlemen? Hope y'all are having a pretty good day. Day's pretty good. Cooled down here a little bit in Virginia, anyways. Doing a little body work on this '86 Silverado. I've got one more thing of metal replaced right there on the back of the wheel arch. Excuse that mess. Got the bed propped up and it's messy back there. I haven't been able to clean, but anyways, whatever. So I've got all the metal that I'm going to fix except that piece. I've already got it cut, welded, replaced, whatever. Dents pulled that I could. Pretty much got all the metal work done besides that one spot. And now I've laid the truck in epoxy, as you can see. Black epoxy primer. I always like to lay the epoxy first on top of the bare metal. I think it helps to seal the metal better. Some people do it different. Whatever. I'm just trying to make some videos out there and help people along the way. It isn't the best way, but it's the way I found it works. So, but yeah, got the truck in epoxy primer, and there's a little dent here. It's about the size of a golf ball. Maybe that's what caused it. I'm not sure. But yeah, so golf ball size dent. I've already got the epoxy laid. I had to scratch it up here a little bit because I wanted a little bit of 80 grit scratch for the Bondo to adhere to. So I'm going to show you all the process of the way I do it. Maybe help you out or not, either way. But just putting some videos out for people maybe need help. I had to learn things kind of on my own and with the help of YouTube and some of these old heads that's done this stuff. So, but yeah, so of course you find the dents. A lot of times if you have a small one, you won't even know you have a dent till you go to sanding, and then you'll see a spot of primer that hasn't been touched. It'll be clean with no scratches in it. And a lot of times actually every time, if you've sanded all around it and that's still clean and hasn't been scratched, then it's a low spot. And vice versa, for a high spot, you'll have bare metal or whatever color's underneath poking through. So, as you can see there, that's not really a high spot, but I just took my finger down in there with some paper and sanded down in there to put the scratch all the way. But I'm going to lay a coat of Bondo on this, and I will get back as it cures up and hardens, and I will sand it and show you the process of sanding. Alright guys, so I done the Bondo off camera, obviously. I don't have my GoPro, so these videos are going to be a little cut. But maybe one day when I get my GoPro, I'll do another video. I'm not done with body work yet. But this is the Bondo that I use. I call it Bondo, but it's body filler. I don't necessarily like using Bondo. There's been some cases that I've had where it wouldn't harden all the way. I don't know if it maybe sit on the shelf long or what. But you can still stick your fingernail in it after it had cured. And I don't know. I don't really like that. But anyways, I've had pretty good luck with this. Not real expensive. You can get it at your local auto paint supplier. Here's your mixer, cream hardener. It's blue. I kind of like the blue. I look for that the mixed color. It shows up better. But anyways, I always mix this stuff, and depending on the temperature, it's 88 degrees in here now, so it cures really fast. I always do like a baseball size diameter pile of putty, and then I'll do usually about three drops of the hardener. And it usually works out pretty good. You got about 5 to 7 minutes to put it out. After that, it starts getting real tacky, kind of real rubbery. And after it starts doing that, you don't really want to put it out because it won't adhere right. So let me take you over here. You see I got everything's kind of coming together slowly, I guess. Redid the rockers, cab corners. I still got to do all that. You see my marks there where I got to put a little more Bondo. So here is the, there's my DA. Here is my So it'll focus a little better. There's a little place here that was just a dry, it kind of overlapped. It'll be okay, because more than likely what I like to do, some people will put Bondo in and try to fill the whole hole on the first time, or the dent. I don't like doing that. I like to do, a lot of times if it's a pretty good sized dent, I mean, I try to pull it, but sometimes you can't. But if it's a good sized dent, this one wasn't bad, but I usually do probably 2 or 3 layers at least, because I like to do thin layers, little bit by little bit. You can actually see the dent, the contour. You probably can't see it on camera, but the contour of the dent is still actually there. And what I'll do is I'll block this. I don't DA it, because sometimes the DA, the pad will actually go down in the hole. I have a 3M pad on it. It works pretty good, but if you're not careful, you'll actually go lower than what you could with a block. I use the Durablock. I got the whole pack. This is the mid-size. And of course they got some little small roller type ones for body lines, and I use 80 grit. This might be 60 actually. I believe it is 60. But I'll use 60 grit to knock it down good. Once I get the hole or the dent where I want it, I leave it. And then of course when I come back with my high build, I will block or wet sand that down with a little finer grade paper. The 80 grit does leave scratches, but the high build fills them up, so I'm not too worried about that, and it also gives something for the high build to really bond to. But there it is. Let me block that out, and I'll show you the results to see if it needs any more or not. Alright, I am back. So anyways, so here's one coat of Bondo and sanded down. All the edges are feathered in. That was one more thing I meant to add. I always use a block, try to use a block, sometimes you can't, but try to use a block bigger than the damage that you're fixing. Because you can see there's no way, as long as I don't sand like that at an angle into there. But if I ride this and go down and up, kind of go at an angle one way, angle the other way, don't ever go across, or you'll learn about it more the more you do it. But if you use a block bigger than the damage area, it feathers in and you actually fix the dent. If you use one, if you got a dent, I don't know, and I don't really know why you'd be fixing a dent this big, but if you got a dent, if this whole section is a dent here, if it's a foot, and let's say you just have a block that's just a couple inches, if you're not riding on the good surface, every now and then, it's going to end up having a dip or maybe higher. A dent that big, really, you would want to try to pull it or, replace the panel. These are just for little dings, not for, I know up here, this is a lot of Bondo. I haven't worked any of this down, so don't judge that. But these are actually a bunch of little tiny dents all together. Little dings. The guy probably used it as a wood truck. So, of course, whatever. The driver's side is more beat up than the passenger side. But little ding here and there, all through here. Wasn't one big dent. This one was a bigger dent. It was probably that big. But, a block is still wider than that. But you can just see the little dings. That one's a pretty big one. But they're little dents here and there. And it works better if you can feather all of them in together. And you can see, like up here, see the bare metal showing through? These are all the spots to where you're working the low spot to that. See if I have a better, here's a pretty good example. See how light that feathered in? Now this is new Bondo, I haven't worked that yet. But this right here, I mean, it's like it's nothing there. That's what you want. You want that real faded look. You can almost see through it. And of course, some spots you won't if it's a real deep dent. But, so let me add another layer to that. you can actually see, you can tell by your sanding scratches let's see if it'll focus. I don't know if it'll focus or not. Anyways, you see this darker gray area? That's the area that the sandpaper hasn't touched. So that's still low. I don't know if I can get it on camera, but a lot of times I like to take straight edge. You can actually still see daylight through that one section. So that tells you that it's low. And then in that section, that is the dark colored area. And you can see that it's still kind of porous, where the rest of it's scratched. There's no scratch marks in that dent, so that tells you right there that it's obviously lower still. So the next coat of Bondo, I won't go quite as wide. I'll just try to stick onto this spot instead of this whole thing, because a lot of times you might get lucky and catch another little small dent that might be back here and you didn't know. Maybe a little ding. You'll catch that in it. But now I know the area around it. Got a little bit here. I just didn't sand all the way down on that. But you know, this area, there's only one dent right there. So the next time I go back with Bondo, I'll just do a little smaller section. I won't mix as much. I fixed a few others, but you know, sometimes it's harder to mix a small batch than it is a large one. So yeah, let me get another layer in that, and I'll be back with the finished product. All right, I'm back again. So here we go. Here we are, finished product. Daggone, I can't talk. Anyways, finished product. Nice, smooth, got good. See if it'll pick it up. Good faded edges. Yeah, you can see the scratches in there, but 80 grit, that's pretty coarse. But I like to use it because it cuts down time, and I'm gonna run back over this with high build anyways. So actually what I'll do from this step, as you can see, let me focus again. As you can see, the rest of the truck is an epoxy primer, except for the spots I'm doing. So this spot is done though. I want to make sure, you can see those two, that's bare metal there. You can see it, yeah. See, those are bare metal spots above and below. And a lot of times what happens is you get like a dent will happen, and it'll actually push the outside edges up. It's kind of like when you throw a pebble into water, you see that ripple. Well, that's kind of what it happens here sometimes. But it's not high enough. Everything's faded together. I don't think it'll be high enough to even notice. So we'll just have to see how the high build and the guide coat and all that lays down. So, but anyways, from this step, you know, everything done, and I'm down to this where I've got a little bit of the under sealer and a little bit of the color. Not a lot. I did get all the clear off for sure. But anyways, down to this, what I'll do, my next step, get the whole truck like that, get all the body work done, all the dents pulled, and little tiny, you can actually see down in there, there's like a little, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. Yeah, maybe, okay, you see that little bit of porous there? I'll probably take spot putty and put in that if it'll stick. I don't know, it might not even go in there. But anyways, the high build will take care of that. So I'll high build it once or twice and block it, get it good and smooth, and use guide code and everything. But to get to that point, I will go back over this with everything that's bare metal or under, you know, the layer underneath. I will epoxy prime back over top of it. So that way when I go to do my high build, there will be nothing but epoxy showing. Everything will be sealed. You know, basically just wanting to seal this back up. It's kind of hard to do that when you're sanding on Bondo and going back through the layers. It's hard to keep the bare metal, but that's what I'll do. I'll go back over it and epoxy it, so that way all these bare metal spots. I'm kind of weird about the bare metal. I don't like putting paint or regular primer on top of bare metal. We've read things about it sweating, bleeding through, all that, whatever. You know, you can do it the wrong way, doing it the right way, or you can do it the wrong way, doing it the right way, doing it the wrong way. There's really no good way, I guess, or perfect way to do it, depending on different materials and all that, whatever. I mean, I could sit here and talk about this all day. But, like I said, me, And if anyone needs any help, you're welcome to use these. That's why I'm putting them here. Videos helping people out, but you're welcome to use any of it. But for me, I will epoxy that back up and then go back over, if I have any more body work that I missed, I'll run it over top of the epoxy. And then after that, after the body's all straight and where I want it, I'll put my high build down, block it, wet sand it, and it'll be ready for paint. So I may do a few videos on that. I just wanted to do, it's kind of sitting back, I guess you could call it relaxing, doing a little body work, and I've been wanting to do some videos, so hope this helps someone. And I'll be doing some more, so see y'all then.